So that could be very scary if the Fed announces that it's going to buy bonds and bonds tank anyway, right? That is the beginning of the end. I don't know if this is all going to unravel that quickly, but it is very close. I mean, every day, right? Because there's nothing I think that's going to stop this. Look at the dollar against the yuan. We cracked below 6.5. We're just below 6.47. The chart looks horrible. The dollar could just tank against the yuan. I mean, I don't know where the support is beneath the dollar. Nobody seems to care about that. And you look at the action in the gold stocks. I mean, yeah, the gold stocks were up today. Not big. I mean, it was a big day relative to what they've been doing. GDX up 2.7%. The GDXJ 2.9%. These are not big moves. Gold, nobody's buying these stocks. I mean, I own a lot of gold stocks. I own a lot of oil stocks. That pretty much sums up most of my portfolio. And my oil stocks are beating my gold stocks. People are buying oil stocks. These stocks are surging. They're going up every day. Now, why are people buying oil stocks with oil prices going up, but they're not buying gold stocks with the price of gold going up? And I think because most investors, have an easier time understanding oil prices and oil stocks. So they think, oil prices are going up. Oh, that's good. The economy is strong. We're using more oil. So oil companies are going to sell more expensive oil into a good economy. So now they all want to buy oil stocks. But when they see the price of gold going up, they're like, well, why is the price of gold going up? I mean, what's the point? I mean, everything is great. The economy is great. There's no inflation, right? The Fed is raising rates. Nobody's going to buy gold. If it's going up, it's just going to go down. And so nobody sees the urgency to buy gold stocks the way they see the urgency to maybe buy oil stocks. But this is because they're wrong. They think there's nothing to worry about. There is everything to worry about. There are so many things. There's probably never been more things to worry about. And the crazy thing is people aren't worried about any of them. And it's probably because of the mania, because of the bubble, right? When you get into that mentality, nothing worries you, right? And it's the same thing with like in the cryptocurrencies, right? When you get into these things and you get into a mindset, and I'll talk a little bit more about cryptos later in the podcast, but it's the same mentality. Nothing can go wrong. I'm not worried. It's cognitive dissonance. If anything comes in that jeopardizes your narrative or threatens your narrative, right? And it's kind of on autopilot until all of a sudden people are going to realize that, wait a minute, here's this problem that nobody could have possibly predicted, and now it's here and nobody has planned for it. And when there's going to be a big rush in gold stocks, look, it could happen next week. Look, gold closed up about $16. We're just below 1340. 1350 is a key level. I think the day that we get above 1350, we can trade at 1400 that day. If not that day, the next day, the day following the close above 1350. And then once we're above 1400, I mean, it could be a quick move to 15, 16, 1700. I mean, it could just be like a floodgate that you've opened. And then what's going to happen with the gold stocks? I mean, they're just going to take off, right? It's going to go into a whole new gear. There are some incredible buys in these stocks, even though they're going up. It's nothing like what they're going to do. And the fact that they haven't moved, again, it's all because people just don't understand the predicament, right? Everybody thinks the economy is in great shape because they think the Fed solved the problem. No, they didn't. They made the problem much worse. They made the problem that they created worse. But the people who think they solved it are the same people who didn't understand it before. And they got blindsided in 08, and they're going to get blindsided again because they never learned from their mistakes. The amazing thing is, people are so excited about Donald Trump and what's going on. Trump is very, very unlucky in that he is inheriting this mess. Now, he's not making his situation better, right, based on what he's doing and what he's saying. But Obama was president during the fun part, during the easy part. Even though the economy, was so screwed up by the time he became president that, it wasn't like great times on Main Street. It was a party on Wall Street. See, he was president when the Fed was spiking the punch bowl with more alcohol than they've ever poured into it. So it's a gigantic party, right? Stock market was booming. It was great, right? That was the easy part. Trump is in office when the Fed is supposed to do the hard part, and nobody even understands that. But the problem is the hard part is so bad, they can't even do it. They can't take the punch bowl away. It's impossible to take it away, so they're going to have to try to spike it all over again. But it's already full of so much alcohol, if they put any more in, then that's it. Right? Everybody's going to die of alcohol poisoning. That's what people don't just get, right? He's the fall guy. It's all going to hit the fan. I always said the easy part was lowering rates to zero and blowing up your balance sheet. The impossible part is normalizing rates and shrinking your balance sheet. And we're going to find that out. Because when the market tanks, because the bond bubble pops and the dollar tanks, right, and now the stock market starts to fall, now the Fed is going to blink. The Fed is going to say, okay, we're not going to continue with rate hikes. We're not going to shrink our balance sheet. If they don't do that, if the Fed doesn't do that and continues to bluff, right, like a game of chicken, like, oh, we're going to keep on raising rates, then the market's going to keep falling. There's nothing to stop it. Right? There's nothing but air down there. And I think at some point they're going to blink, right? They're going to turn. They're not going to want to just crash right into the coming car. But then it's over. Then the jig's up. People realize the predicament. They should have realized it. This is not rocket science. This is pretty easy. It's just so many people have a vested interest in not wanting to recognize it, wanting to tune it out. I do get some talk about, what if the government shuts down? Why aren't people worried about the government shutdown? That's a non-event. Who cares? I mean, if the government shuts down, we're actually better off. The problem is they never shut the government down. Even when they shut it down, it's still running. It's still operating. So we actually never get a break. This is all politics. But even that phony theatrics doesn't even bother the markets anymore because nothing can go wrong, right? It's perfect. And that is when you set yourself up for a crash. No one's worried. No one's concerned. No one's buying insurance. Everybody's doing the same thing. And then all of a sudden, there's something that comes out of the blue. And it is very close. And how many more down days do we get in the bond market? How many more down days in the dollar? But this is all going to accelerate. Gold prices are going to start to move up even faster. The dollar's going to start to fall even faster. This is going to snowball. But in the meantime, just load up on the right assets and get out of the wrong ones. I said it's very frustrating. I have a number of my own clients that are doing the exact wrong thing. Right? They're selling their foreign stocks and their gold stocks and buying into the Dow. Some of them are buying into Bitcoin, but they're doing the exact wrong thing at the exact wrong time. The smart money is adding to their accounts. Of course, I talk about the fact that we have clients closing their accounts, and it's more than we normally get, and it's frustrating. But most of the clients, the vast majority, are not closing, and plenty of people are adding. They are doing the right thing, and I'm very glad for that because I think we're about to make more money than we've ever made. And I've had plenty of great years in my career, a lot of great years, and I think this is going to be a phenomenal year. And next year's going to be even better, and the year after that could be even better. I mean, I feel badly because it's going to be bad for the country, but that doesn't mean I have to lose money. It doesn't mean I have to sink with everybody else on the Titanic. That's why I'm out on this lifeboat, and I'm going to make a lot of money as that boat sinks. And hopefully, I can use some of my money to try to drain the water out of the boat, so we could recommission it. Politically, the sooner the collapse happens, the better. If it takes a couple more years, we're finished. Because then Trump doesn't have time. The Republicans don't have time to do anything right. The Democrats will have the presidency, both houses, and then that's it. Right? I mean, at least we're done. At least if it falls apart early enough in Trump's administration, then maybe he'll do the right thing. Maybe with Republicans in Congress, maybe we can finally do the right thing. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be painful. It probably means they're not going to get reelected anyway. But I'd rather hand the economy to the Democrats, having already done the difficult things that need to be done, than just giving them to them now and let them go and just decide, oh, this only proves that capitalism doesn't work. This just proves that we need massive government, that we need huge tax increases, right? Because the free market wrecked the economy again. These tax cuts for corporations and the rich did it all over again, right? This great economy that Obama built over 8 years was destroyed in a matter of 1 or 2 years by Republicans with their tax cuts. I mean, we don't want that. So I think the sooner that it happens, the better, because there's a chance that the Republicans might do the right thing. But again, it's a chance, and I don't know how big the chance is. It's probably not that big, but at least it's a chance. I think there's practically no chance that President Sanders or somebody like him and a Congress full of Sanderites that they're going to do the right thing. So we have a few years to maybe do the right thing. Then we're going to have to wait 4 more years to potentially do the right thing. One thing that I have clients that are worried about, and I talk to them about this, they're worried about the government confiscating stuff, right? Well, things get really bad. What if the government starts confiscating assets? And they don't understand that the government doesn't have to confiscate anything. It can just print. It's the same thing. See, the government can print money and buy whatever it wants. That's like confiscation because it costs them nothing to print money. So why would they have to confiscate something? They can just go and buy it. money they created for nothing, right? And so that's what I think they're going to do. So rather than worrying about the government taking your gold, like Roosevelt, right? They confiscated gold, although they didn't send government troops to people's houses looking for gold. I mean, people voluntarily complied with the law, right? They walked in and they gave up their gold. Most people didn't. Most people kept their gold, which was the smart thing to do. But they needed to take the gold back then because we were on a gold standard. The government couldn't just print money when Roosevelt was president. They needed the gold, so they seized it because they needed it. They don't need gold anymore. We're not out of gold. They have no standard. They just print and buy. Right? Look at all the stocks that the Swiss central bank now owns. Did they confiscate those stocks? No, they just bought them. So where'd they get the money? They created it out of thin air. So it's practically the same thing, right? So as long as the dollar has some value, the government doesn't have to confiscate anything. Even if prices go up, what do they care? They'll just print more. They'll just print as much as they need to buy what they want. The only time it stops is when the dollar is worthless, when no one will take it. Yeah, now that is the time where you have to worry about the government seizing your stuff, right? Because the minute nobody wants dollars, right? Because the dollar's worth nothing, now they got to do that. Now they got to come and seize your stuff. Now the last thing they're likely to seize is your physical gold, because how are they going to find it? It's going to be a lot easier to seize your stocks out of your brokerage account than the gold that you have buried somewhere. But yeah, they might do that. They might start seizing. They might start seizing foreign exchange. They might put control. They might make it illegal for people to move money out of the country. A lot of this stuff is going to happen eventually. It's not going to happen right away. But before that happens, the dollar is going way down, right? Foreign stocks, commodities, gold are going way up. So let's worry about that first. Let's worry about protecting your wealth from the real confiscation, which is inflation, right? They print money and they confiscate your purchasing power. So what is the government going to confiscate? Your savings account, your bonds, your treasuries, your muni bonds, the cash value of an insurance policy. That's what they confiscate. They just print money and they confiscate the value of yours. So that's what I'm protecting people from. That's what the accounts that we have are going to do. And that is what people need to be worried about now. Maybe years down the line, if the dollar has no value whatsoever, believe me, we're in a complete catastrophe when nobody will accept the dollar. If no matter how much money the government prints, they can't buy anything because nobody will take it. You want to give me $10 million for this toothpick? Forget it. I'd rather have a toothpick, right? If they can't buy anything, then you imagine what's going on. And that's why you could also have some plans for having offshore trusts and things like that and asset protection and stuff that I don't get into. I have clients that do that on their own, and I've done that. But the immediate thing, I think that is still several years away. The immediate thing is to get your assets out of dollars. That's the immediate threat. That's what people don't understand. And number one, it's bonds, but also U.S. stocks. And U.S. stocks are going to have a horrible time, even if they end up going up in nominal terms. They are not going to go up in real terms. They are going to fall in terms of other currencies, and they're going to collapse in terms of gold. In fact, I still think the Dow Jones is going down to 1 ounce gold. So obviously, gold's going to have to go pretty high. If the Dow's going to stay at 25,000, I mean, gold's going to have to go to 25,000 to make that happen. So it's more likely that the Dow's going to go down. But you never know. Obviously, if there's complete hyperinflation, then the Dow's going to go up. It's just going to look like it's going backwards when you compare it to the price of gold. I read this other article too, speaking about taxes. I read this article about Connecticut and their cigarette taxes and how they have been raising the cigarette tax, but what's been happening is they haven't been getting the revenue because people from Connecticut haven't been buying cigarettes from Connecticut. They've been smuggling them across the border where the taxes are lower. And they're reaching a point now where they raise taxes on cigarettes and they collect less revenue from cigarette sales because fewer people buy them legally and more people smuggle them in. And of course, that is why excise taxes are so good, right? If you go back and you read the Federalist Papers and they write about taxes, they describe excise taxes, which is what a cigarette tax is, as being self-corrective as to abuse. And what they meant by that was if the government abuses the tax by raising it too high, it will actually get less revenue because people will stop buying the product that's subject to tax. And that's the beauty of the tax, right? It keeps the government in check because they can't raise it too high because you'll use something else or you'll break the law, you'll smuggle. And that's why the government, or that's why the founding fathers wrote the Constitution so that the government would run pretty much exclusively on excise tax. The only time they were supposed to use direct taxes, which are much more abusive, because if the government puts a tax directly on you, you can't afford it, you got to pay it. So the founding fathers looked at direct taxes at more of an abusive and a risk of abuse. And so they made it very hard for the government to levy a direct tax by making it subject to the rules of apportionment. But they expected that the government would only raise direct taxes during a war when it was emergency and it needed a lot of money, right? But during peacetime, it was supposed to exist on excise taxes, and this shows you why. But that's the problem. We don't now. The government collects predominantly direct taxes, even though legally they pretend. The Supreme Court in the Shaver case, after the income tax was ratified, when they said, well, the income tax is an excise tax to make it constitutional. The Pollock decision rightfully struck down the income tax as being a unapportioned direct tax. Then they passed the 16th Amendment, and then when they challenged it again, the Supreme Court said, well, it's constitutional because now we're taxing income as an excise tax. But they don't do that. They levy the tax directly on you, measured by your income. They don't do what the Supreme Court said they were supposed to do. It's not an excise tax on corporate profits. It's a direct tax on sources of income. They tax your labor because they tax your wages. They tax your stocks because they tax your dividends. They tax your real estate because they tax your rent. Right? The Supreme Court ruled that a tax on rent is a tax on real estate. A tax on labor is a tax on a human being. A tax on a dividend is a tax on a stock. These are all direct taxes. They don't become excise taxes because you tax the income and not the source. But then the Supreme Court said, well, if you can separate the income from the source, you can levy an excise tax on the income as long as it's separated from the source. Well, how do you do that? Through a corporate balance sheet, which is why the courts have defined repeatedly that income means a corporate profit. And corporate profits, that's the only thing that the government's allowed to tax. But of course, they don't do that, right? All the laws are ignored, and they continue to collect these taxes as if they're direct taxes. And therefore, they're inherently much more abusive. Now, of course, doesn't mean you can't try to avoid or evade direct taxes, right? People cheat on their income tax all the time, or people do things like I did. They move to Puerto Rico, right? You raise the taxes up too high, people leave, right? People find ways around it. And that's one of the reasons why these taxes, this new tax bill, is going to produce even bigger deficits than would have been produced after these tax cuts. So again, the budget deficits are skyrocketing, the trade deficits are skyrocketing, the dollar is tanking, bonds are going down, interest rates are going up, inflation is picking up. All this bad stuff is happening. Yet nobody cares. All they do is look at the stock market. Right? There is no booming economy. That exists only in the imagination of investors or in Trump voters. The real economic data doesn't show any difference between now and Obama. That's it. It's always soft. It's always surveys where everybody's all hyped up. But what's actually happening isn't much different. But what is different is we're much closer to going over the edge of that cliff. Because the entire time Obama was president, all of the problems in the economy were getting much worse. It's just that everybody ignored the problems as they were getting worse because they didn't understand it. And now we're in a major predicament. Last thing I want to talk about are the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin in particular, but obviously it applies to all these cryptocurrencies. But there was an article that I read, actually read it up on the Zero Hedge website, about the cryptocurrencies, trying to say that, hey, all you people that are saying that it's a bubble and it's going to pop and it's like the Dutch tulip craze, you're all wrong, right? This article said that this is like automobile companies 100 years ago. It's like buying, that Bitcoin is like buying stock in Ford, right? He said that there were a lot of automobile companies, and yeah, a lot of them went to zero, a lot of them went bankrupt, but some automobile companies became very, very successful. And he said that, buying the cryptocurrencies is like trying to buy the automobile companies that are going to be the ones that succeed, that somehow that cryptocurrencies are going to change the world, just like automobile, right? Automobile was an evolution from horse and buggy to a car, and now we're going from paper money to cryptocurrencies, from money created by sovereign nations to money created by private citizens. And this innovation is going to be as transformative as, the horseless carriage, and that this is the same thing. And so, this is not tulip mania. This is like buying automobile stocks at the beginning of the age of the automobile. And I'm just like crazy. Bitcoin is not an automobile company. Why did Ford succeed and some of the other companies succeed? Because they found a way to make cars and sell them at a profit. So they were able to make a profit off the automobile. And so the people that bought stock in Ford happened to buy the stock that made a profit. Right? There were some companies that maybe had cars that nobody wanted to buy, and they couldn't compete, and they went bankrupt. And a lot of people probably overpaid. Even some of the stocks that ended up making a profit in the frenzy to buy auto stocks, they obviously overpaid for the actual ability to generate a profit. Buying Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency is not like buying an automobile company. Bitcoin doesn't make anything. It doesn't sell anything. It can't make a profit for anybody. I mean, this is the insane stuff that happens in a bubble. Buying Bitcoin is like buying the individual car. Right? So an automobile company might be a publicly traded company that mines Bitcoin, right? Or a company that utilizes the blockchain in some way to generate a profit, right? So companies that are trying to generate a profit off of cryptocurrencies or blockchain, you could argue that, hey, this is the opportunity, and maybe there's some future, Fords, right? That are out there. But buying an individual Bitcoin is like not buying Ford. It's like buying yourself a Model T. You're buying a product. You're buying a thing. Of course, the difference is I can actually use a Ford, a Model T. I can drive it. It eliminated my having to have a horse. It made my life better. I was able to go from point A to point B without being on a horse, right? So that was a big improvement in my life. What can I do with a Bitcoin? Right? What can I do with a Bitcoin that I couldn't do before I got a Bitcoin? Nothing, right? So the Bitcoin as a product is not like a car was a product. Now, yeah, if you still have a Model T today that's in mint condition, yeah, it has value as a collector's item, not as a car. You wouldn't drive the thing on the freeway. It's probably not illegal on the freeway. I mean, you might be able to drive it around the block in your home once in a while. You wouldn't want to do too much because you probably don't want to put a lot of mileage on it. But it has value as a collector's item, right? You can look at it, you can polish it, you can show it to your friends, right? Brag about it, right? So it has value because it's scarce and it's a piece of Americana. Does anybody think that Bitcoin is going to have some kind of collector value in the future? Like some 100 years from now, some guy's going to have a collection of uncirculated cryptocurrencies on some flash drive, and he's going to impress his friends by saying, hey, take a look at this wallet. Look, I got this thing called a Bitcoin. Remember? No, there's not going to be a collector. There's never going to be any collector's value. Plus, there's too many of these things, right? I mean, they didn't make nearly as many Model Ts as they made Bitcoins. And of course, a lot of people use the Model T, so they got jumped. I mean, all the Bitcoins that have ever been mined in 100 years are all here, right? So they're never going to have any collectors of value associated with it. But that's what it is. When you're buying a Bitcoin, you're not buying the company, you're buying the car itself, right? You don't get a piece of the blockchain, right? Just like when you buy a car, I don't own the roads, I don't own the highway, I just own that one car. You don't own a blockchain when you own a Bitcoin. You own something that is utilizing one blockchain, the blockchain that Bitcoin uses. That's all you have is that one token, or a fraction of a token. Because most people try to buy today, but they can't even afford to buy a whole Bitcoin, right? A Bitcoin is $13,000, $14,000. Now I will point out too, Bitcoin is no longer going up, by the way. I mean, we haven't made a new high in a while, and there's a lot to be worried about there for all you Bitcoiners and cryptocurrency guys. You know who you are, because you're constantly ribbing me about the fact that I missed out on the gains, and I did. I admit that. Yeah, I had an opportunity to profit from other people's greed and foolishness, and I once again didn't do it. But fine, I'm going to profit. I'm making a lot of money right now on my stocks that I do own. I'm going to make a lot more money, and the difference is I'm going to keep it. Now, yeah, there are going to be some people. I have had people open up accounts with me. A couple of people who have cashed out $1 million gains in cryptocurrencies and are sending me their money and are opening up accounts. These guys are doing the right thing. But based on how high Bitcoin has gone, I mean, I'm not getting that many of those accounts. I mean, they should be coming in every day. The fact that I'm not shows that most people are just letting it ride, right? They're still in the casino, and all the chips are on the table, and that means they may not come back with anything. In fact, I was reading an article today, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin talking about how we need more regulations on Bitcoin. We got to make sure that bad people don't do bad things with these. Look, this is the kiss of death for these cryptocurrencies. The amazing thing is, during the bubble, you got people actually saying, "Oh, this is good for Bitcoin. Regulation is good." No, it's not. It's terrible. The initial appeal of Bitcoin was, "Hey, there's no regulation here, right? This is an easy, efficient way, peer-to-peer, no third parties, no banks. We don't have all these AML or all these rules. I can just, it's a cheap way to exchange money." And it was initially. The problem was, there was no. You couldn't say it was a store of value because the price could have imploded. As it turns out, the price went way up. But at least 4 or 5 years ago, it was useful in that you could use it very inexpensively to move it from person to person. But you can't do that anymore just based on the sheer volume. The cost has gone up. But if you introduce a lot more regulation, so that it's you got to fill out all kinds of forms and all kinds of paperwork, just because you want to transfer your Bitcoin to somebody, and you need to present your driver's license, a photo ID, you need a power bill with your address on it, and then they have to run it through a bunch of red tape, and you got to and slows it down and increase the cost because the people that have to comply with all the rules and regulations and get audited, they got to charge for that. It costs a lot of money, and so all of a sudden, if Bitcoin becomes more expensive to use, much more expensive to use than a credit card or a bank wire, then you destroy one of the main arguments for Bitcoin, and then all you're left with is it's digital gold. Well, no, it's not. It's digital fool's gold. That's why again, watch the price of gold. So far, it hasn't really broken out. People aren't even worried about it. I mean, in fact, a lot of people probably still think, "Oh, why buy gold? I'll just buy Bitcoin." So once gold breaks out, we get above 1,400, really start moving. If Bitcoin is still around this level, remember, we're forming now the right shoulder, head and shoulders top. If we complete that formation and break the neckline line, again, Katie bar the door. Bitcoin is going to implode even faster than the stock market, right? They're both bubbles, right? People are both being irrational. But, one is, the air can come out a lot quicker than the other. So be very careful. And as I said, this is the time to be adding money to your positions in foreign stocks, in gold, in precious metals. We're going up almost every day. I don't know, maybe we'll have a correction, maybe we won't, right? Maybe these stocks will just keep on going up every day and people will be too afraid to buy them. But right now, a lot of people don't care because the U.S. stock market is going up too, so they don't think they're missing out on anything. Well, the U.S. stock market's on borrowed time, literally, right? It can't keep going up. It's got to implode, and the only way to stop it from imploding is to destroy the dollar. So either way, all the money's going to be made, the real money's going to be made on the other side of this dollar trade. It's going to be foreign stocks and resources and commodities and emerging markets and gold stocks, stuff like that. So if you have an account with Europe Pacific Capital, add to it. Right? I mean, as quickly as you can. Buy some gold, ship gold, open up a gold money account. Especially if you guys are holding cryptocurrencies, just go online, open up a gold money account, goldmoney.com, and buy some gold and silver using your cryptocurrencies, using your Bitcoin. It's going to be the best trade that you can make, right? Because you'll have real gold and you'll be getting rid of all that fool's gold. Anyway, everybody, have a great holiday weekend, and it could be a very, very interesting Tuesday. I really think that there's a lot of risk this weekend. Nobody is thinking about it, but I'm very interested to see what happens to the dollar and gold, oil, bonds over this weekend, and how we start trading on Tuesday morning when the U.S. finally reopens.
Resuming episode.
They will still seek to take him down. They will never admit his success. They hate his love for this country. They hate the fact that he's committed to a reform agenda, that he's destroying the...
They call it mentally ill. They call it mentally ill. You're supposed to be a psychopath and screw all the people in the world. The things he's doing for us will raise wages globally. They've been erased to the bottom, like Ross Perot said. The elites want totally poor people in coffin apartments they control. Bezos admits that. And then Trump's countering that with a prosperity message. And all these people, Africa's being told you can't have cars, you can't have air conditioning by Obama. Trump says, yeah, you can have it all. And it's so obvious.
It is obvious. And, Roger, I have a question for you. Do you think that it's possible that we could actually see the president come out and address the Project Veritas videos on Twitter and the censorship that has been going on and discrimination against people who have certain political political.
Imagine a weekly address on each of these topics would devastate.
Like a fireside chats of issues, and he goes on the offense instead of always being on the defense for the fake
What
news.
we're saying is it must happen. They need to stop tying his hands, his instincts. Gosh, the thing is that he's got advisors looking at this info. It's just, Roger, what do we do? This is so riveting. I can't turn away.
Well, you're exactly right. They are moving very, very, very quickly to shut down our access to social media. The reforms announced by Facebook yesterday, if you read...
It says it's not friendly and nice. We're banning it, but the Democrats can say they're going to murder us. If we say, don't murder me, that's bad.
Well, there's a direct quote. We're going to be showing you less news and more of what we want you to see. They're closing down channels on Facebook. Millions have already been disenfranchised. I know Republicans and conservatives and liberty-minded folks who own major Facebook channels who have lost millions and millions of followers and access in the last 72 hours. This is coming very rapidly. The president crows about his prowess on social media, but he has to come to grips with the fact that they are moving aggressively to shut him down.
By the way, the Communist Chinese 2 years ago announced this, where if you don't support their system, they're going to downgrade you on their own social media. And now they're showing you, like, be positive, go along, shut up, and we'll make you big. If you don't, you're gone. But then by the time they've got everybody, they shut that down too. Now is the time.
Our country has never been more divided now that we have social media. If you really think about it, it's because we have
It was designed for a globalist takeover. We used it to defeat them.
They're trying to create a civil war. They're trying to create division. And then we have Democrats out there in the media saying, oh, we're going to punch the president. Oh, president is racist without any...
Sitting governor of Virginia.
Exactly.
But then he can say that. That can be on Twitter, Google, and Facebook. We just can't say that's wrong. That's not coming together in the little cult with the trendy. So that can't be heard. No, we're just going to call for Scalise's death and Trump's death, and you're going to sit there and take it on you have to 70-second break and recap this, Millie, because this is it. This is the fight. You want to defend the Republic? Trump was only the beachhead. You have the hands.
Super blue, fluoride-free products.
Oh, love it. Billions of dollars of fun. Antifa scum.
And the Democrats coming out and it being used to set us up. But the problem is...
Well, in the next few weeks, I'm going to be announcing during the show for a flash event off of 360. They've got a Google facility, an Apple facility. They've got another one downtown, and everybody has to do this because they're so scared of being cyber called out, but also in person. So as they restrict us online, we start hitting the streets. Roger Stone, go ahead, give us your take on that.
Well, my colleague Tyler Nixon yesterday invented a great new hashtag. Stop the Twatsies, because that's what they are, the Twitter Nazis, the Twatsies. Think of a chain of humans hand to hand, like a circle, all around the Twitter headquarters. You got to cross the picket line to get in. You have to fight them, yes, in the courts, and I guarantee you, Milo and I and a host of others will be doing that shortly. The mother of all lawsuits, multiple jurisdictions, and multiple causes of action to avoid them consolidating. We will confront them in the courts, but they have to be confronted at their front door. That's the beauty of the First Amendment. Protest, non-violent protest.
And as libertarians and conservatives, we don't ever do that. We've got to do it now. They're shutting down our free speech. They're involved in our phone calls. That's what digital stuff is. They're like breaking in Twitter, Facebook, and they break into our private messages and look at them, share them, and laugh. This is a group of truly criminal, authoritarian, dirtball control freaks. And we're coming after them. I told everybody on the show, I'm listing these lawsuits now by DeBoer and others, and more's coming. And a lot more's coming. Oh, we've got them on video saying they discriminate against me.
Exactly.
I'm just waiting for more comes out, and I'm suing them as well.
And if you think for a second that you wouldn't have...
We're going to sue the Google employees.
Well, I want to see some of the people who were in that terrific Project Veritas video. I want to see them under oath on the stand. Let's see what they say then. And Jack Dorsey, we know where you live, Jack. We're going to form a human chain around your home every day, day in, day night. Have a nice time, pal. It's the First Amendment. Get ready, buddy. It's coming.
It's the First Amendment at its best. Thank you, Roger Stone. We'll talk to you soon. Go ahead, Mike.
And if you think for a second that liberals, if they were being discriminated against on Twitter or YouTube, that they would just sit back and not do anything about it or just say, oh, let's just use a different platform.
No, they sue. You don't make gay guys. They sue you. Fine.
Exactly.
But we're not even, we're not letting any access to anything.
We have to sue.
We're SHIT people. They have us on the calling us, that, called shite. But, but see, they got a made-up quote.
So they can discriminate, but the cake maker can't. Sorry, but this is grounds for lawsuits. This is grounds for massive protests. And you know that liberals would be doing it if it were them. So we need to do
Well,
it.
they've hired a bunch of racist minorities and told them, it's your time to suppress white people. What happened 100 years ago? And that's what they've done. We'll be back with the key to this whole operation. Stay with us. Thank you, Roger. No, stay there. What is Bob doing? And your purchase of these things. Well, the answer is sue Congressman quickly, saying shut us down as fake news, for civil rights violations. And we're behind the scenes suing people. There'll be public lawsuits, don't worry, but we're doing it. But it's not we're happy about it. That's why we need to be flooded with money, because I don't have money to even expand right now, much less do all these. People say, oh, sue, do this, do that. Buy a t-shirt, buy some books, buy some videos, buy some supplements you need, water filtration, air filtration. Whatever the best systems are out there, we sell to discount at InfoWarsStore.com, because without that, we're nothing. Without you, we're nothing. This is a real war. This isn't just media, conservative, liberal. This is the full takeover. And we're in the fight, but it's happening now. The future is being decided now, Rob.
Well, I'd like to just point out that you were ahead of your time by creating a social media platform years ago. It ended up, kind of dying.
Well, I got infiltrated, and it wasn't all fancy with CIA money, but
Right. You didn't have CIA backing, you didn't have the push to the front. But still, it's people that need to make things like that, like their own social media sites, to take away.
And then Gab did, and Google bans it on there, and then called for it to be shut down.
Right, they don't want competition. And it's like, hey, if you don't like what the people are saying on Gab, don't respond to them, or don't follow them.
But it's way beyond all that. We're under total criminal censorship attack.
Oh, yeah.
Bezos is making $1 billion every 2 days off the scams he runs and government funding. The Washington Post is literally the enemy of this country. Because we keep being reasonable. Right. We keep just kind of looking at the facts and the evidence and debating this and polishing that. The globalists are absolutely in total war against the recovery, against the president, against all of us.
Yeah.
No more just sitting there like pundits analyzing this.
And James will keep it on the head. They use the word SHITTY against it.
Because they're on video calling all whites, conservatives, Trump supporters, like that. Because we can't do that. We're not upper class elite liberals. They're allowed to say it's a documentary and they're okay. We can't.
And then 3 hours later, they come out with the same thing. Oh, Trump said this. Who do we have? We have people, according to people familiar with their reactions. Those people weren't even in the meeting. According to people familiar with their
people in the meeting say he didn't say it. Of course they're lying. Of course. Garbage. You're going to be taken over soon. No leave final comments.
Well, it's obvious that we are seeing social media networking companies right now fighting for the right to control their chattel. They're brainwashed masses.
Well, beyond that,
So
they're saying we're going to social engineer with algorithms what you're allowed to even talk about to engineer you where you don't interact in the real world, you interact through cyberspace, and then in this virtual reality, we condition you to behave the way we want, or you don't get human activity, we put you in solitary confinement.
They are creating their own echo chambers through their bots, through their algorithms. So if we were to just say, hey, let's just leave and only be on our platforms, we miss the opportunity to awaken the masses that are still watching CNN and watching Don Lemon and believing the lies and disinformation. So we have to fight. We have to stand our ground. And you know that if the liberals were being discriminated off these platforms, they would do the same. So we have to do it. That's my final comment.
I just thought people could go online and act like fake liberals for a few months and build it up and actually and then say it was all fake, just to show people that, listen, they found people that only want social media power. They get the dopamine of getting promoted, so they don't care what the truth is. They're going to be a cure for death. These people don't want it. They have chosen people in these things that are literally pure scum. And so some say the answer is leave Facebook, Twitter, and Google. And I agree. The president needs to break it up. Google, Facebook, and Twitter are a greater threat than Hitler, who wanted to conquer the world, because they're scientific, they're committed, they're evil, they're using psychology. So I agree. It's now time to shut down Google. They want to shut our speech down? They just hit me. Fine. It is time to have congressional hearings and all of it, and not just break it up. It's time for Google, Facebook,